As I move from step 2 to step 3, the instructions here say to reverse the figure ground and rotate individual elements. So I'm going to start by copying my last composition. I'm focused now on page 2, so if I copy everything here, Command C, and then I make sure I click on page 3 to focus on it. So I have page 3 down here, Command Shift V, paste in place. To reverse the figure ground, it might be helpful to group things first, and I'll explain why in a minute. But I'm going to select every element in the composition. Oops, I accidentally unlocked instructions. Make sure that's locked. So I'm going to select every element in the composition, and then I'm going to say to come up here and go to Object, Group, or Command G. And now any one of these pieces that I select moves the whole group. Okay, so this says to reverse the figure ground, which means to make everything that's black white and everything that's white black. Right now, the background is white and everything else is black, so that should be pretty easy. Yours might be more complicated, but I'm going to start by just drawing a square and sending it to the back, and I'll make that black. Well, that makes it really difficult to see my composition, right? So here's where the power of the group comes in. I have a variety of things in my composition. Some of them are just lines. They're just lines that are strokes and they're dotted. And some that are filled with solids. I'm going to select one element of that group, and then I'm going to double click. And that sends me into isolation mode, where now the only thing I can see or grab on the whole page is part of that group. What makes that handy is now I can select any element. Oh, also because I'm in the group, now I can move things around so they're not locked to each other. If I click on the square that's filled with black and say select same fill color, that selects everything that's filled with black, and I can make it white. But notice my lines didn't shift because they don't have a fill color at all. They just have a stroke color. And so I can do that again, select a line, and then under select, same stroke color, and making sure that, well, I can either change the stroke color here or make sure that the stroke is in front over here and change the color in this palette. Simplest way is probably right here. But now I can back out of that group and I have if I turn on my blockers, a new composition. But that was just step 1, or step 1 of step 3. So it also says to rotate individual elements. So rather than rotating the whole composition, I'm going to double click again, so I'm in that group. And now I can rotate individual pieces or groups of things. So I might rotate this, I don't know, 90 degrees. Everything in my composition is 90 degrees, so 90 degrees seems like a good rotation. I can use the rotate tool, double click it, type 90. I just double clicked to rotate that. I just double click on the icon and I get this rotation. So I can rotate it that way. These things rotate minus 90, and I'm changing things around, and individual elements of the composition have been rotated. I can also move, but the idea is I'm just kind of going quickly and seeing what happens, and then I can back out and abracadabra. I've got a third composition and it happened really quick.